Hey y'all, it's Siobhan Muir. Welcome back to Cooking with Siobhan. So today we are trying a new recipe called Clementine thumbprint cookies. And we're doing them gluten-free, but we're gonna make the curd, there's curd, that goes on the cookies first. So here's what you'll need for the curd. You will need a 1/4 cup of sugar, granulated sugar, a packed teaspoon of finely grated clementine or satsuma zest. Trust me, it takes a while. We had a good time doing that. That took about 20 minutes to do. Just letting you know so you have an idea of how much time it takes to make fresh clementine zest. 2 large egg yolks at room temperature, a tablespoon of cornstarch, and a 1/2 cup of freshly squeezed clementine juice. This too took about 10 to 15 minutes because you think, oh, well, it's like an orange and you just squeeze it and you go, it doesn't. You have to kind of do each section by itself because otherwise it sprays it everywhere but in where you want it to go. And I think that took about 6, 7 clementines, something like that. It was a long process. A tablespoon of lemon juice and 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, thinly sliced. I use salted butter. I like it better. You may use unsalted or salted as you see fit. All right. So that's just for the curd. So that's what we're gonna start with. Then I will give you the ingredients for the cookie dough. For now, I'm just gonna give you the curd and we're gonna do that. And then when that's doing what it needs to do, I will tell you about the cookie dough, which is why you need the stand mixer. So what you're going to do is rub together with your hands. So make sure your hands are clean, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the zest and the sugar, put it in the saucepan before you turn the heat on, and mix it all together so it's very fragrant. Please wash your hands first. There's the sugar, there's the zest, and then you're supposed to mix together with your fingers. And I have never done this before, so this is kind of new for me too. I'm assuming they want the zest to get sweetened as well as making the sugar fragrant. And so they said add the egg yolks and cornstarch. Well, the cornstarch is a full tablespoon. There's the cornstarch. And then the egg yolks. There's the egg yolks. And then whisk together until a thick paste is formed. And it'll be a thick golden paste. Make sure all the cornstarch and sugar are combined. Slowly whisk in the citrus juices, then place the pan over medium-low heat. What they want is put the juices in first, then turn the heat on. You need a tablespoon of lemon juice and the 1/2 cup of orange juice. Lemon juice. And I will whisk that together. And then the 1/2 cup of freshly squeezed clementine orange juice. It will be very liquidy, so don't be too concerned when you had a nice thick paste that now it's just a liquid. Okay, and then it said put it up to medium-high heat. So that's where I'm going to put it, right there. And while you do this, it says cook, whisking constantly until the mixture thickens and begins to bubble. About 5 minutes at medium-high heat. So, constantly whisk. It's okay to go slowly because you're going to be doing this for a while. All right, look at it, it's going thicker. Okay, and then it says about 5 minutes. Whisk the mixture vigorously and let boil for a minute, which is about all I have left, so that's good. So this one took 4 minutes. Okay, I'm removing it from the heat. And then I'm adding in the butter. Just put that in there. Come on, butter. In there. Stir that in there. with the whisk to start. Well, if I you that's how you make orange curd, I would have made more of it for other things. Transfer it to a medium bowl. And then they said put plastic wrap on the top, probably so it doesn't make a skim or a top, a crust to it. So we'll set this over here, press directly to the surface, and I'm gonna let it cool because I have to now make cookies. So there you go. That's what it looks like. You can immediately chill it. I might put it in there to let it cool faster, but yeah, you just put it in, chill, and then, or use immediately or chill for days. We're gonna use it immediately, but for now we're gonna chill it. To make the cookies, make sure that you position the rack in your oven to the center. That's what it wants. And preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius. Line 2 large cooking sheets with parchment paper and set aside. In a bowl of the stand mixer, fitted with the paddle attachment, which we have done, combined. Oh, you need to know the ingredients, don't you? Let's do that first. All right, so what are you gonna need? You're going to need 1 cup of unsalted butter at room temperature. Mine's been sitting out, but it's probably not at room temperature, so I'm probably going to heat it up in the microwave. 1/3 of a cup, 75 grams of brown sugar. 1/3 of a cup of granulated sugar. So you're going to have 2/3 of a cup of sugar. You could do it all brown sugar if you preferred. You can do either one. It doesn't really matter. The idea is it to be sweet. I suspect the 1/3 cup of brown sugar will be packed. So white sugar is just a scoop. Brown sugar is packed. 1 packed teaspoon of finely grained Clementine zest. 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. 2 more egg yolks at room temperature. A teaspoon of vanilla and 2 cups of gluten-free flour. Ta-da! And then it says powdered sugar for dusting. It's probably going to be sweet enough, but we'll just let you know. In the bowl, the stand mixer fitted with the paddle attachment, combine the butter, both sugars, zest, and salt, and beat on medium-high until smooth and creamy. About 3 minutes. Okay, so since I have the zest, I'm putting that in there, including all the stuff still left in the bowl because might as well use it. If you put that much work into getting it, you might as well use it. 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar, packed, I would suggest. 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar, packed. 1/3 of a cup of white sugar. The butter and the salt. And the salt you'll need is 1 teaspoon. 1/3 of a cup of white sugar. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up my butter, because the problem with butter when you're trying to do this is you're so focused on doing everything else you forget to take the butter out. Or what you do take out is for the curd, so you don't even think about it. Then they say beat on medium-high speed until smooth and creamy, about 3 minutes. Okay. And then what you do is you add the yolks and the vanilla extract and continue mixing. There's 1. There's 2. And you can get rid of the whites because you're not going to keep them. Teaspoon of vanilla. And then mix again. And it says until well combined. Add the flour and mix on low speed until just combined. So what it means is, just combined means the dry ingredients are wet now, but not sopping and smooth. And then they say 2 cups of flour and mix on low speed. My suggestion is when you put in the flour, put it 1 cup at a time and start slow, like just the stir option on your KitchenAid. Just start slow and let it just combine stuff, because otherwise there's a poof and you don't want to do that. But you can't stir for very long because they said they just want it just combined. So, you know, balance yourself. We are using Bob's Red now, 1-to-1 gluten-free flour. And if they want it just combined, maybe I'll put in both cups at once. I don't like doing that, but that's what the recipe says. All right. Flour added. Start slow. I would set it at 2. All right, and then I said just combined. Not very long. You really don't want it terribly long. It will be drier than it was when we started because the flour will absorb a lot of the moisture. Form the dough into a smooth 1-inch balls and place them evenly spaced on the 2 cookie sheets. So this is pretty much what your dough is going to look like. I'm going to preheat my oven. Smooth 1-inch balls and place them evenly spaced on the 2 cookie sheets. It is recommended to bake 1 pan at a time. So they said 1-inch balls. So you're looking at about if it won't stick together, go ahead and squeeze it a little bit before you roll it. They smell good though. You might end up with more dough than space. That's okay. Do another cookie sheet if you want to. We just had a little bit, so we just kind of ate the raw cookie dough. A little bit is okay. You'll be fine. All right. But not much. You don't want to, you're not talking huge spoonfuls like eating peanut butter. This is just a little bit of dough. All right, it says bake on the center rack until the cookies begin to puff and expand, about 5 minutes. And what we're gonna do is they said it is recommended to bake them 1 at a time. So what I'm gonna do is snag this one right here and throw it in. And I'm gonna set the timer for 5 minutes. While I'm doing that, what it says is when they come out, they're gonna be hot. So make sure when they come out, you set them on a rack because you don't really wanna touch these things. Also, make sure you also have some tools to work with, because what you're going to do is you're gonna press these things down. It's supposed to be thumbprint. They're gonna be hot. Don't use your thumb. What they suggest is use a little 1/2 teaspoon measuring spoon and use that to press down on each one, because you're also going to take that 1/2 teaspoon and you're going to put about a 1/2 teaspoon's worth of curd into it. Get out our orange curd. So when the cookies come back out of the oven, we will peel this off, and it'll peel right off the curd, which is kind of warm still. And for all the times you pressed it in, you'll take some of this and you'll put it in the hole that you made, or the dent that you made with the spoon. And then you'll put it back in the oven to bake for another 5 to 6 minutes. Then your cookies should be finished. While the one is baking, when the first one comes out and we press the holes in it, we'll put the second one in for that 5 minutes. That'll give us some time to kind of, move them around and that sort of thing. Fill each indent with about a 1/2 teaspoon of curd, then return the pan to the oven and bake until the cookies are dry to the touch and just barely beginning to turn golden around the edges. 5 or 6 minutes more. The cookies will still be pale and soft, but will set up as they cool. So we will show you what it looks like when the first batch comes out. This is the first batch coming out, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull the first batch out, put the other batch in, and work on them. They are starting to melt a little bit, which is good. All right, that batch is done. Okay, so what they say now is take your spoon and smush them a little. If they don't stick to your spoon. It's okay if they crack a little, that's fine. The idea is to make a dent in the center that you can fill with curd. And it is better to do this with a spoon than your fingers because it will be very hot. Now, if it doesn't bother you, you're more than welcome to use your thumb, but I prefer not burning my fingers. Now, once you've done that, use your same little spoon and put a dollop of curd in each cookie. It has solidified really well. On the cookie. On the cookie. Again, you're trying to convince the curd to go on the cookie and not stick to the spoon, but you know, this is wild baking. All right, so we're gonna wait until the other comes out in 1 minute, and then we'll switch them. So we'll put these in and bake them for 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 5.5 minutes, and then we'll bring the other one out and fill it with curd. We are pulling this one out, setting it on the rack, and then we will bake this one now for 5 to 6 minutes. Now we have this set to smush. Cookies smell good, even without the curd. Like, I think you could probably enjoy the cookie. I mean, if you just left them as a ball, I think you could just do like 8 minutes of solid cooking time, and you'd enjoy the cookie as well. All right, it'll be interesting to see how they come out when they're done. Not too much different than when they went in. I was expecting it to ooze a little bit. No, it's about the way it went in is the way it comes out. I'm sure it'll taste good. I mean, if you need to do presentation, now's a good time to do it. Everything's warm. You can rearrange things and say, well, I want the curd to be more centered or spread out. That's a good way to do it right now. They smell really good. They smell like orange shortbread cookies. You know, shortbread cookies, but with just enough hint of orange. I hope they're really good because they took an awful lot of work to prep, right? The zest off of itty bitty oranges and then having to juice the daylights out of these things. Let me tell you, it took 7 of these little dudes to make half a cup of juice, just so that you're prepared for when you have to do this yourself. It's going to take quite a few of these. You need a half a cup of juice, so. Yeah, the curd doesn't move much. It's it looks the way it looks, and that's the way it stays. So there you go. Basically orange zest shortbread cookies with a little bit of curd. They're really good. We've tried a couple. They will be very soft when they come out. They'll be very soft. But as they cool, they'll start to harden. The cookie part will. So don't worry if they're kind of really squishy when you first get them out. Just let them set up and cool, and they'll start to harden a little bit more, and then they'll be more of a solid thing you can pick up. I think if I was going to make the curd by itself, I think I would up the amount of sugar. So from 1/4 cup, I'd do about 1/3 cup. And then I would cut the lemon juice to about half. So instead of a tablespoon, I'd do half a tablespoon, or even just 1 teaspoon. I would cut that so you can really get the orange flavor instead of the more sour citrus. But that's the only thing I do. If you were just gonna make the curd by itself and then like eat it with graham crackers, that's what I would do with that. But on the cookie, it's perfect the way it is because it's a nice blending of flavors. So yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for joining me today. Ring the bell to find out when you get more videos. Subscribe to the channel, like and comment on this video, like and comment on other videos. I do answer the comments. The recipe will be in the description of the video so that if you didn't see or hear something specifically, you can read how it works. Yeah, and definitely sign up for my Patreon, which is patreon.com/Siobhan Muir. You'll get not only these cooking videos, but all my writing, some cover reveals, news about what's coming, some of the other activities I do that is creative other than baking. So yeah, definitely sign up for that too. And there's different tiers depending on your budget, and all of it helps. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy making, happy baking, happy eating, and happy reading. Bye.